right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Horseshoe Talk. And here on November 11th, 2022, Friday. Got a lot to talk about going on with the Colts. As everybody knows, got a new interim coach after Frank Wright getting fired on Monday. And we got a big game this weekend against a Raiders team that's also been struggling. So I guess the good thing about it, one team has to win.
Yeah.
The way to look at it for both teams, I guess, because neither team has been playing well. But joined by my dad, Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
I'm going pretty good. Anxious to see what's going to happen on Sunday. I think it's a 4 o'clock game, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it's like 4,
Yeah,
4:15,
four.
4:05,
Yeah,
something like
a
that.
little after four or something. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
I think the way I understand Taylor's going to play, I believe, isn't he? I think he's activated.
Yeah.
So that helps some. Hopefully, he's close to 100%. And of course, we just seen here a little bit ago, Shaq Leonard is out for, I guess, at least 4 games. He's on injury reserve, so it means at least 4 games. So Colts has had some big injuries this year. They ain't helped things either. I mean, Taylor and Taylor's missed 2 games,
Yeah.
and another game was ineffective because I think of the injury. So, and then Leonard's played 1.5 game maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe two and a half at the most.
So I mean, uh, things have not been real good on that end, but can't make excuses.
No, and at this point, if he misses four more games, it's not. When do you get to the point that you just go ahead and sit Leonard for the rest of the season and get ready for next year?
I think the only way you don't if the Colts go on a 4 game win streak
Yeah.
and get back in the hunt. If they get back in the hunt, then yeah, you would want him because he could add something to the team. But if they even if they go 2 for 2 or don't win another game, during those 4 games, I think then you start looking at, hey man, we're out of it, and let's just get you healthy for next year.
Yeah. Because I mean, when he's healthy, he's one of the best linebackers in the
Yes.
league. So don't get me wrong, I want him on the field, but at a certain point,
And he would help the defense, but our defense has played well enough without him, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I mean, the defense hasn't been the problem this year.
no, defense hasn't been our problem. Our problem's been the offense and
Offense
mainly
and
the offense.
offense, and it starts with offensive line.
Yeah, so mainly the offensive line. Uh, Injury report, real quick. For the Colts, you have tight end Jelani Woods is out. Running back Deion Jackson is out.
Oh, I didn't want to wear that.
Shaquille Leonard out. Tight end Mo Alley Cox is questionable. And defensive end Quiddy Pay is questionable. For the Raiders, you have Divine DeBlow. He's on injury reserve, so he ain't playing. Denzel Perryman, linebackers questionable. Tight end Darren Waller's on injured reserve, and wide receiver Hunter Renfro's on injured reserve. So a couple of their big offensive weapons are out. They still got Devontae Adams. They still got pretty good running back in Jacobs. But for some reason with them, it just hasn't clicked with you brought in Josh McDaniels as your head coach.
Hey,
Bringing Devontae Adams, thinking that's really going to boost your offense, and they just ain't. I don't know if it's excuse me. I don't know if it's McDaniel's fault. Carr hasn't looked like he has the last couple of years.
Carr said there's definite issues, but he won't
Yeah,
talk about them, in public. So I don't know if it's him and McDaniels. I don't know if it's him and Devontae. I don't know what the issue is, but there's an issue. There's definitely something there.
I know this. I know last year after they got rid of Gruden, and you had I can't remember his name, but he was the interim coach. The Raiders played pretty damn good, and they haven't looked like that team at all this year.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say the Raiders come out and say Carr's the problem. They get rid of Carr. Is that somebody that the coach would be interested in? I mean, I know a lot of people want him to get a young quarterback. I'm not sold on the young quarterback. Of course, getting the other, which Carr's not the age of some of these other guys.
No, Carr's not as old as like Ryan.
And some of the other guys. Wentz wasn't real old either, though.
No.
So, I mean, or do you think we just need to go for that young quarterback and that's it? And it depends where we're at in the draft if we even have a chance for a young quarterback.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad if they got Carr. I think Carr's pretty good. I mean, he's been a Pro Bowler. He's played at an MVP level. He was probably going to be the MVP that year. He hurt his knee and ended up missing the rest of the season. Uh, and if you look at the thing about Carr, also is look how many different head coaches and offensive coordinators he's had to deal with, and how many different systems he's had to play in, and to still be able to put the numbers up that he's put up. Uh, I think it's pretty impressive. Yeah, so if he comes available, I wouldn't be mad at all if the Colts went and got him. Honest, if I'm the Raiders, I get rid of Josh McDaniels before I get rid of Derek.
Yeah,
Carr.
I'm not saying to get rid of Carr. I'm just saying that if they decide that, because there's talk out there, there's been a lot of people against Carr for years. So I mean, let's say they decide to move on from Carr. Is that a guy that you would look at? I think I would, because honestly, I don't think the Colts are that far away. I mean, I know the record's not good right now, but if we fix the offensive line, I've seen some good things from some of the receivers. I still think we need to go out and get one more experienced receiver. I would like to see add. But other than that, we've got running backs. I mean, they just let Lindsey go, I believe, and they signed somebody else.
Well, they do have that Moss as well that they got in that trade.
And they got Wilkins, and then I believe when they signed somebody else, they let Lindsey go.
No, I don't think the Colts are far off at all. The biggest issue has been our offensive line. I think would have had a good season this year if our offensive line performed up to what they thought they was going to. Because our defense is top half of the league. Honestly, well, our offense had, when Ryan was there, we still wasn't like we were a terrible offense. We
couldn't get in the end zone.
We couldn't get in the end zone, but like if you went by yardage and everything, we were up there in the league. We just couldn't. We had too many turnovers and couldn't convert anything into points.
And let me clarify something. I'm not saying that the young quarterback we have that started the last two starts is not the answer. We haven't seen enough of him. No. And then I didn't think he played bad the first game.
No, I thought he played pretty good that first game.
Yeah, I did too. The second game, he didn't have a prayer. No. Didn't have a chance. It wouldn't make no difference who was back there.
No, he was getting hit. He couldn't even take a three-step drop back and was getting hit in that game. It was just terrible. And that was one of the reasons why Frank Reich was fired the next day, was because it went from bad to basically worse.
But I don't understand why the offensive line coach is still there.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And you fired your offensive coordinator before you fired Reich, which didn't make a whole lot of sense because Reich called the plays.
That's what I thought. And then being the offensive line has gotten worse in that time.
Yeah, and then all this week, all you've heard is basically everybody on TV and most of the media just basically kind of bashed the Colts about hiring Jeff Saturday as their interim coach. Me personally, I don't have a big problem with it because I kind of see what Irsay's trying to do, and it's an interim position. It ain't like he hired him to be the head coach of the team with no experience. He's hired him on an interim basis. At the end of the year, Jeff Saturday might be a candidate. He might be if Irsay feels like he does a good job these last 7-8 games. He might be a candidate, but they'll have to interview people and all that. Yeah. But to me, it wasn't that big a deal. To me, it's not that big a deal because of this. For one, it can't get no worse. And the worst thing that can happen by Saturday being the new interim coach is we keep losing and we get a high draft pick. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. It ain't like we're going to lose more games and we're going to miss out on something. No, we're not going to miss out on anything. The best thing that can happen is he can get that offensive line playing a little better, and maybe they can be more competitive. Plus, I think Irsay, the way he talked, I think he wanted somebody from the outside which not necessarily from like outside of the Colts, because Saturday has been a consultant with the Colts, but somebody that hasn't been a head coach before that come in and kind of evaluate the team. That isn't thinking analytics. That's not scared, not in fear of making a decision against the analytics because you're so worried about the analytics. I think Saturday was brought there to help keep the locker room galvanized together, because a lot of them players respect Saturday and he's been around. And to evaluate the team and let Irsay know, this is what I think, this is what we need, this is that.
He's also not there. He's not there. Never planned on being a head coach at this point. I mean, I don't think necessarily he had desires to be a head coach. He got a call, got offered, and I think basically he's not afraid for his job. I mean, he's not going to be sugarcoating things and telling Ursay what he wants to hear. He's going to tell Ursay exactly what he sees and exactly what he believes the problem is. And Ursay definitely respects Saturday. I think they're friends. I think he respects him for the career he had there in Indianapolis. You see the people in Indianapolis that he's respected. The wide receiver, which I'm having trouble with his name right now, is the
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne is the wide receivers coach. Mathis is also on the staff. There's people that have bashed that, and to me, it's because they're jealous because they haven't got that opportunity. I mean, just because the guy didn't coach in high school or college, don't mean that they couldn't add something that's played that position their whole life and were Pro Bowlers and Hall of Famers, or or not already Hall of Famers. We're going to be a Hall of Famer. To bash them because they got that opportunity.
Well, here's my thing: how many coaches are in the NFL that never played
football,
never played football, never played in the NFL, never coached in high school? I mean, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of jealousy, and I believe on some people's part. Keyshawn Johnson's one of my. Well, he said, I want to be a coach, but I don't want to do all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to have to start at the bottom. Well, I mean, and here's my thing about the head coach too. It ain't like the head. You know what the head coach's main job is? Being a good leader. You hire. It's all about hiring the right people around you as a head coach. Getting the right offensive coordinator and the right defensive coordinator, getting the right position coaches together is more important. Is to me is more important. The head coach is the guy that can be a good leader and keep everybody in line, keep everybody accountable. You know, I mean, a good head coach, they don't have to know everything about football, but they need to know how to manage the game, how to motivate people, be a great leader, and even all the people that's been bashing this. Like everybody at ESPN that's been bashing it. One thing they all say that they all talk about how great of a guy Jeff Saturday is and how great of a leader he is. Yep. Dan Orlovsky, who played with Jeff Saturday, talked about how great of a leader he is. Peyton Manning, how great of a leader he is. And to me, that's the most important thing of a head coach is being able to be a leader and not only being able to hold other people accountable, but hold yourself accountable. Yep. And from everything I've heard, it sounds like Jeff Saturday's a guy like that. So. Yep. I mean, I think could be a good head coach. I think he's going to come in and things are just going to change like that. No, but I also think that the way Jeff Saturday's looking at it is the right way too. Because if you heard him in his press conference, he goes, I'm not expecting to come in here and be something great, but he said but I'm not only auditioning for this job, I'm auditioning for 31 other jobs. Yep. You know what I mean? So I think he's coming in with the right mindset.
And I think another big key too was because he was an offensive lineman, and that's the big issue. I guarantee if you talk to her and say what he thinks the biggest weakness on that team right now, and I think it's obvious to everybody, it's the offensive line. So Saturday was a big offensive line guy, of course. So I mean, that may be enough. I think that's part of the reason.
I think that's part of the reason too. I think that's part of the reason. I think the other reason is because he hasn't coached in the NFL before, and I think Ursay wanted to try something different. And to me, I don't see what's wrong with it. And that's why most people are complaining about it is because it's not him following in line like everybody else does. Oh, you promote somebody from your staff to be interim coach. It's not him for just following in line. It's him. He's taking an outside the box approach and trying something different.
And Joe Thomas, his drinking buddy, said he hired his drinking buddy, his friend. So is the first person that's been a friend or been friendly with somebody or knows somebody or has a relationship with somebody that's been hired because they know somebody? Bullcrap.
Oh, Nathaniel Hackett's a head coach of the Denver Broncos because he was friends with because he got along good, was a friend with Aaron Rodgers. That's exactly how Hackett got his head coaching job in Denver. And then Denver didn't even get Rodgers. And that's why a lot of people think Hackett's going to be out after this year. But that was why Hackett got that job, because everybody talked. And Denver thought, oh, we get Hackett, we'll be able to land Rodgers, and they still wasn't able to get him. Rodgers ended up staying in Green Bay. No, and that's in any walk of life. People get job. Hey, sometimes it's more of who you know than how qualified you are, and that's in all walks of life and any kind of business. I know a lot of people, they've gotten jobs because they know somebody. And sometimes that's how it works. Sometimes somebody might get a job over somebody that people say is more qualified, but hey, that guy knows this guy and thinks he can trust him, so that's who they hire. And that's not just in football, that's in anything. But I think it's going to be interesting to see. I know if we look bad this game, everybody's going to be on Saturday and Ursay real bad. Which to me, you can't go off one game when a guy took over less than a week ago. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if people try to pile on this weekend, if it doesn't look good, that's just people hating on it. In my opinion,
Well,
you have to give them a few weeks to make some changes.
How you can look much worse than you did last week?
No, I'm not saying you can look much worse. I'm just saying if they don't come out and look good, you know people are going to try to pile on.
I don't see how you can.
I don't see how you can either. But there'll be people. See, that's what they get for hiring Jeff Saturday, and you know how there are people big on TV.
Okay, but what are they going to say if the Colts put up 30 points and beat the Raiders 30-14?
I'm hoping some of these people back hope they eat their crow and backtrack some of their statements.
That's what they're going to say. It was one game, but they wouldn't say it was one game if it was the other way around.
Yep.
And after they've been playing so bad already, I mean, we was worried. Both of us was worried what was going to happen when they played Belichick.
Yeah, I even said it on the show.
Yep. We both said
the one thing that worried me about last week's game was basically a rookie quarterback going against
Belichick.
Belichick
Eats him alive.
First and second year quarterbacks playing against Belichick did not do good. It just, if you look at the numbers, they don't. His defense usually confuses the hell out of him. But my thing is, I don't even think it was as much as the defense confusing Sam Ehlinger. It was the offensive line couldn't give him time to get confused.
He didn't have time. He didn't have to worry about getting confused. He had to worry about trying to not get hit.
Yeah, he didn't have time to get confused.
He got sacked 9 times. And that's not counting the other times he was pressured. He got sacked 9 times.
Oh, he was running for his life I know at least for the first half, and we listened to it on the radio, it didn't sound like the second half got any better.
Yeah.
The first half we got to watch.
Yeah.
But from listening on the radio, it didn't sound like the second half got any better. They have the Colts as 4.5-point underdogs right now.
But the other thing, Chris, even going into the third quarter, we wasn't completely out of that game. No. Even as bad as the offensive line played, because our defense is a good defense. Our defense,
we have a good defense.
Our defense is a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had an offense that could play and keep them off the field, maybe a top 5 defense.
No, I agree. Our defense has been playing their ass off. There's really only one game I thought they didn't play very good, and that was the second game of the season against Jacksonville Jaguars. We didn't play very well.
A little bit of that down against Washington there at the end of the game on two drives.
But I think some of that was just getting tired.
But saying that, we only give up 17 points that game, and we lost. I mean, you can't complain when you're only giving up 17 points.
Yeah, if your defense is giving up less than 20 points, they're doing their job.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing their job. Derek Carr, he's 170 for 273 for 1,880 yards, has 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So it's not like he's just been flat terrible. No. But
say how many times he's been sacked or anything?
I can look that up in a minute. The running back Josh Jacobs has 130 carries for 743 yards, 6 touchdowns. For the Colts, Jonathan Taylor has 107 carries for 462 yards and 1 touchdown.
That's not exactly where we thought we'd be.
No. Well, he's missed some games.
Yeah, missed at least 2 games and really 2.5.
Receiving, you have for the Raiders, Devontae Adams, their leading receiver, with 48 catches for 658 yards and 7 touchdowns. And the Colts' leading receiver is Michael Pittman Jr. with 54 catches for 550 yards and 1 touchdown. And that's big. That's been the Colts' biggest problem is not being able to find the end zone.
Really, Adams ain't had that bad a year. I mean, I know they're yelling about him getting the football, but that's not terrible. I mean, it's not maybe what they think yardage-wise and catch-wise. They'd like to see maybe another 200 or 300 yards, another 15, 20 catches, but his touchdowns ain't bad. Yeah. But halfway during the year.
Yeah. Right here's the biggest problem for the Colts. Points per game, 14.7 is what the Colts average.
What's Raiders?
Raiders average 22.9, so right around 23.
What do we average giving up?
Point-wise, points allowed per game, 20 for the Colts.
What about the Raiders?
Raiders average 20, giving up 25.1. Let's see, total yards. So Colts average giving up 343 yards a game to the Raiders 354 yards a game. So I mean, it's not it's not like our we said our defense plays pretty good. It's just been the offense, and the biggest problem has been the offensive line. And then but then when we do get in the red zone, we've struggled. We haven't been able to find the end zone.
That's true.
But I think some of that some of that goes back to the offensive line as well.
Some of it goes to
But
play
a lot
calling.
play calling, and I've been saying it all year about I didn't like Frank Reich's play calling.
How many attempts has Taylor got to run the ball in the end zone?
Well, not much. I mean, well, think about this. 2 weeks ago, Jonathan Taylor had 10 carries and averaged 5.5 yards of carry. The next game, he gets 15. I mean, look how Tennessee uses Derrick Henry. That's the way the Colts should be using Jonathan Taylor. Feed the guy, especially when your offensive line can't block and your quarterbacks.
I agree with you 100%. I think the ankle may have caused a little bit.
Yeah, his ankle I think has bothered him some, but still he still should be he still needs more carries. And then my other thing is 2 weeks ago we're playing the Washington Commanders. We have a quarterback that's never thrown a pass in the NFL before, making his first start. We get the ball first, and we come out with 5 wide receivers and no running back in the backfield. Now, how much damn sense does that make? You have Jonathan Taylor, who's one of the best running backs in the league. You have a quarterback, and nothing against Sam Ehlinger because I thought Sam played pretty good that game. Nothing against him. You have a quarterback that's never thrown a pass in an NFL game, and you're coming out spread out in 5 wide, and they done that. I don't even think they handed the ball off one time that first series. It was all 5 wide. It's like empty backfield formation. That's not setting your young quarterback up for success. I mean, it didn't make no sense at all. I mean, I understand if you're down in the game, but this is the first drive of the game. Washington hadn't even touched the damn football yet, and we're going 5 wide and trying to air the ball out, and it's like. And even if you were going to pass the ball, have a running back in the backfield so the defense has to worry about the handoff to Taylor. I mean, hell, they didn't have to worry about that because there wasn't no running back there. And that's what aggravated me. And then our offensive line can't block. And what does Frank Reich keep doing? Let's keep trying to throw these long developing routes down the field. Let's not throw a screen pass or throw a swing pass out to our running back or something to try to slow down that pass rush. No, we keep trying these long developing routes over and over. There was never no adjustment made to his play calling for the way the offensive line was playing. And if you hit a couple of those screens and they go for 15, 20 yards, guess what? That's going to relieve some of the pass rush. It's going to help your offensive line out. Because you know what I mean? Because it's going to slow them down a little bit because they're going to be worried about that. You see New England and a lot of these other teams do that all the time. I bet you can count on one hand how many running back screens or wide receiver screens the Colts have tried this season. And that don't make, and especially when you have a young quarterback, or even with Matt Ryan, a guy that's more of a statue and can't, can't move a whole lot. Use that screen screen pass. Well, for some reason, we just never done that.
Well, and they supposedly had this package for Hines coming in the season. They all talked about the special package. I never seen it. And you had Hines, who had ability to run after he got the ball in his hands, and you got Taylor, who's hard to tackle after he gets the ball in his hands. And really, we never made use of it.
No, we never did. Like I said, to me, and I think that's a big reason why Frank Reich don't have his job now is he just never made no adjustments. You have when the season's not going the way you want it to, or your offensive line's not playing as well, you got to make some kind of adjustment to try to take some of the pressure off of them. I just never saw that at all.
I don't. The offensive line was so bad. Maybe he tried to make adjustments, maybe it didn't work. I mean, the offensive line had to be the worst in the league.
I don't know. Cincinnati Bengals can look pretty damn bad too.
I bet you we've had more sacks.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably close.
I guarantee it's real close. if not
I-
not more, because
I think we've been
Our
probably
team's-
hit more. Our quarterbacks been hit more, pressured more, and more sacks than anybody in the league. Or I guarantee at least the top three.
no, I agree. What do you think the keys are going to be for this Sunday's game against the Raiders? I think Raiders are 2-6, Colts are 3-5-1. I think offensive line is going to be a big key for us, and then we're going to have to stop the run. We can't let Josh Jacobs get going on us, because they're missing two of their offensive weapons in Renfro and Waller. But you still have Adams. I mean, they still have a weapon out there. But I really think if we can stop the run, make them beat you throwing the ball, is going to give us a better chance. But on the offensive side of the ball, the offensive line has to give Ellinger a little bit of time. So I think the big key for the Colts is going to be we need to get a running game going.
Yeah,
We got to get that running game going.
Offensive line and run game. Even if it's not, I mean, I'm not saying we got to run for 140 yards, but we got to be close to 100 yards rushing, I think. And another key too, with a young quarterback, not turning the ball over. So, but I expect we're going to play a lot better. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think we're going to play a lot better. I'm not going to say we're going to win the game, because we've had a lot of struggles, but I think that. I thought we was going to win that Redskin game, and I thought we was going to turn the season around, and you've seen what happened since then. So,
and if you look, the Colts, most of the games the Colts lost, other than like the outlier like last week, most of them have been close games. 17-16 to Washington. Could have very easily won that game. 19-10 against Tennessee.
Yeah, that game was real close. The fourth quarter all the way till they got the other field goal, make 19-10. We was within scoring position most of the game. With touchdown most of the game. I think they got that field goal with about 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter to make it 19.
We lost to we tied the Texans in overtime. Let's see, lost Tennessee the first time 24-17. So another close game.
Got way behind and came back.
So other than 2 losses, everything's been close.
What was the other Tennessee game? Score
19-10.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, look at this. Okay, Houston got 20 points on the defense first game. Jacksonville got 24. The most points they gave up was 34 against Jacksonville when they lost 34-27 the last time we played them. And there was, if I remember correctly, there was a pick six thrown in that game.
Yeah.
There was a couple of them that wouldn't that the defense didn't give up the points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So really, our defense is only, if you count that game, our defense has only gave up more than 24 points one time.
Yeah.
Well, 2 times. That game and the game past weekend against New England.
Yeah.
Where we got beat 26-3. Did they score any of them points off a turnover?
Yeah. For sure they did.
I was going to say, I thought they did. So, well, what was it? Taylor fumbled against Washington, or in a big spot.
Yep.
There's the Colts have definitely shot themselves in the foot some as well. In a lot of these losses.
And like you said, even with all the offensive line problems and stuff, play here and there, and our record could be the other way. Not getting the end zone. We get in the end zone 2 or 3 times instead of field goals, or not getting any points because we didn't even go for the field goal or missed the field goal. The record could be the opposite of what it is right now.
Yeah, no, yeah, it could.
But it's not.
No, and I think this weekend, like I said, the key to me is we gotta get the run game going, and we gotta stop their run game, and then don't turn the ball over. And I think we'll have a good shot at winning this game. It's going to be interesting to see. We'll have a guy calling plays for the first time, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I do have a question. How do you think guys like Bradley feels, who's been a coach before, John Fox, who's on the staff, been a coach before, and they bring in Saturday? Do you think they're upset?
Oh man, that's a good question. It depends. I think it depends on if they were caught off guard by it, or if Irsay talked to him. You know what I mean? If Irsay before he announced it, if he if he kind of talked to him and told him why his vision was and what he thought. I mean, I could see them being a little bit upset. I mean, who wouldn't be? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure they would. Well, maybe not Fox, because I think he could have a head coaching job if he wants it. But I'm sure Bradley would love to have another opportunity to be a head coach of a team. So I could say, yeah, they probably are a little upset, but I also think it's the way Saturday handles it, going in there, and like the way he handled it this week, going in there and talking to everybody and stuff. I think that could help them get over that. You know what I mean? Because I think these guys are professionals. So yeah, they might be a little upset, but also I think that's not going to affect how it goes.
Plus, the bottom line is, Chris, most cases, whenever say Saturday comes in and he's not going to stay around, he's intern, they're going to bring somebody else in. Most cases, when a new guy comes in, all those position coaches are gone.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I mean, so these guys probably know the handwriting's on the wall.
Yeah.
Because bottom line is, if John Fox got named the head coach next year, let's say they put him in term and he got named the head coach, he might keep Gus Bradley around if the defense played well, because Bradley is a real good defensive coach. But I would say all the other positions would be gone, even if Fox became.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys, they bring in their own guys.
Oh, guys. So, I mean, I think they kind of, and I'm not, if everything goes well and Saturday end up getting a job, he may keep all those guys if he wants to stay. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but that's not the norm.
No, it's not. It's not. But this isn't the norm either.
No, far from it.
I'll be honest. When they announced that they fired Frank Reich on Monday, I never in my wildest dreams did I think Jeff Saturday was going to be our interim coach.
There's rumors out there that people think that our general manager may be gone, and there's people, and it could be wishful thinking, that they're going to reach out to Peyton Manning to try to become the new general manager of the team.
See, I've heard that rumor. I've also seen where there's a sports book that has Peyton Manning as the betting favorite to be the next head coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
I don't think he'd take it.
I don't either, because he said before that he didn't really have a big interest in being a coach, especially at this time. He still has some younger kids. I don't think he wants to commit that much time. That's the big reason why you don't see him every Sunday on as a commentator for one of these big networks, because they've tried to get him. Is because of that. He does that thing with ESPN, yes, but he gets to do that from his house. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's once a week, and he does it from his house. He don't have to.
And it's not your normal commentating.
No, I mean, it's basically him. It's basically him and
basically a watch along with him and his brother and a special guest. So,
I was gonna say it's basically him chopping it up with his brother, and them two are funnier than hell together. Anyway, I like watching it. So, but I can see maybe eventually Peyton being maybe in an executive role. I think that is going to be more of what he would probably do than maybe a head coach. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't know if it'll be next year, but it wouldn't surprise me if somewhere down the road if Peyton ended up being maybe a GM or an executive with the Colts, because I think him and Jim Irsay still have a pretty good relationship. It seems like, but. I mean, Peyton lives in Denver, and you see him there at Broncos games a lot. So who knows? He might end up in some kind of executive position with the Broncos.
That's not unheard of. Yeah, that's a possibility.
And I think him and John Elway. I think him and John Elway have a pretty good relationship there as well. So it wouldn't be surprising if maybe Peyton went that way. One coach I did hear, because I've heard some college coaches as well, or college coaches, but the one college coach I heard that I really liked is Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
If you do decide to go with a college coach, that would be one I'd be okay with.
Well, I could say
he has NFL experience.
He's not your typical college coach. When I think college coaches, I mean the guy's never coached in the NFL. So he has coached in the NFL.
With Harbaugh, you've seen him have success in the NFL. Took the 49ers to 2 NFC championship games, to a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Look what he done there. And he also, I think something that could kind of help him, that stands out to me, that might stand out to Irsay, is if you remember when he was in San Francisco, he had Alex Smith as the quarterback, and everybody thought he was crazy when he benched Alex Smith to put Colin Kaepernick in, and look what happened. So Harbaugh don't coach with that kind of with that fear. that Irsay was talking about.
And I don't
Harbaugh is going to make a decision. If you don't like it, you don't like it.
I think,
And if it works, it works. If it don't work, it don't work.
I think he's more old school. I think it's not all analytics.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yes, that's another thing. I don't think it's all analytics either. But that's another thing I think Irsay would like about Harbaugh is Harbaugh's going to make a decision based on what he thinks is best for the team, and not worry about what the outside media or whoever says what. Because, like I said, there was a lot of people that was burying him when he first started Kaepernick, and look what happened. I think that would. My question is would Harbaugh leave Michigan to come to the Colts? I know his name was a big name there in Minnesota for the Vikings job this year. A lot of people thought that he'd end up there at the Vikings, and then it didn't happen. So,
but he has ties with the Colts, in some ways. So.
Yeah, played for the Colts.
So I would say that if any team in the NFL, I think that they would have a shot at it. I'm not saying maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he's just too happy at Michigan. I mean, they're a top 10 team.
And the Colts fans loved the Harbaugh back in the day when he was the quarterback.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Captain comeback. Yep. He was a fan favorite around here.
Yes.
And so I don't think that would be a bad move getting a Harbaugh. Another guy I would like to see. I don't even know if he wants to coach anymore. Maybe Jim Caldwell.
Yep.
Or I'll tell you another guy. I don't know if he's going to get another head coaching job this quick, but Flores. That was in Miami.
Yep.
I don't think he got a fair shake there in Miami. I think he would be a good coach, good fit for the Colts.
And another one, Sean Payton, but I think he's going to be at other teams. But Sean Payton would be a good.
Oh yeah, Sean Payton would be a good. I think Payton's going to either end up in Los Angeles with the Chargers or with the Dallas Cowboys. That sucks about Leonard, but yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go from coaching. Who knows? It might be Jeff Saturday. I mean, we don't know. I mean. Would I say right now that I think it's going to be Jeff Saturday? Probably not, but let's see how these 8 weeks go, and it might be. You never know.
I've seen Samuel's returning for 49ers.
They're getting bunch
players back. That could make a difference. And then and then the other.
See, look, they're getting Elijah Mitchell back, and they're getting a lot of the players back. If they can stay healthy, I'm telling you. 49ers could be a team that's a dangerous team in the NFC.
It could be, and then the other guy I seen was going to play. Looks like T.J. Watt's going to play for Pittsburgh, and that makes a difference. I mean, I know he's one player, but it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference on that defense when he's out there. All right, Michigan State and Gonzaga just started. Austin said, "Be awesome if Cardinals got rid of Cliff and got Flores."
That'd be good. That'd be a good pick.
Yeah, I definitely think they need to get rid of Cliff. I agree. You have anything else before we get out of here for today?
No, I don't think so. Hey, Austin, maybe you guys can pick up the Colts' old coach, the one we just fired.
Yeah, Frank Reich.
Yeah, maybe Frank Reich.
Before we do get out of here. Happy Veterans Day. Also, thank you to anybody that served or still serving for this country. We greatly appreciate it.
Yep.
Want to make sure we get that out there. Also, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays network. We greatly appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook. Like and follow on Facebook and Twitch at both networks, Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays network. Austin said he said, "I'm good," laughing out loud. We got a lot of different shows going on. So go check us out. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, about all social medias. You can find us at Gonzo Sports Room and at the All Sports All Plays Network. Hopefully the Colts can play a good game this weekend, pick up a big win. And we will see you guys. And we'll probably see you guys Sunday with the watch along for the game. It starts at 4. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm waiting on him to let me know. Because he had something going on today with his fiance. I think it was their anniversary or something.
Oh, okay.
But we'll probably be doing a watch along on Sunday, so keep your eye out for that. But we appreciate everybody watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.